I started out in advertising about 20 years ago, and in those days there weren't any advertising schools. So when I went into the industry, I learned on the job. It was like the school of hard knocks. And after a while, I finally figured out what works. Initially, my great frustration was that I would put my heart and soul into my work. I'd come up with something which I think was really creative and different, and then when it gets rejected, the only thing that they'll tell me is that, oh, it's not quite catchy enough, or it's not there yet, it needs to be worked some more. And I'll be so frustrated because I don't understand why. But eventually, it took me about 5 years or so, where things finally clicked for me, and I understood that everything that I do in advertising goes back to marketing. It has to serve a marketing purpose. And when I discussed this with my peers in the industry, the people who are the creative directors or the executive creative directors of the international agencies today, we found that this was actually a common problem. This was something that we all had to struggle through when we were starting out. And that's why it gave me the idea of setting up 95%, because we know that the advertising schools follow an academic syllabus. So they do not prepare students for working in the real world. And the most enthusiastic students would join an agency, all gung-ho and passionate, like, I'm really willing to learn, I'm very hardworking, and I don't mind the long hours, and I really want to learn. Problem is, people in the agency don't have time to teach. Everyone is rushing to meet deadlines, so they don't have time to actually sit down with you and explain it the way that a trainer would. And when I spoke at the last year's Crunchyroll Awards, I had the opportunity to meet some of the international gurus, Scott Witt of Droga 5 in New York, and Mike Shalit of BBDO in South Africa. And when I shared with them this problem, and I explained to them that, well, 95% is going to build the foundation first, and do some strategic thinking, and then go on to idea generation, and then finally the craft, their eyes just lit up and they said that, yes, this is exactly what we need. So, guys, this is a problem in Malaysia, maybe a problem for you in Indonesia as well, but it's not only us that's having the problem. Even these great countries like South Africa, even New York, which is the hub, the center of advertising, is still facing that problem. And while we hope that 95% can be one of the solutions that can address this, so that young people, all fresh, talented, enthusiastic, when they join the ad agency, they will really get the learning, the grounding, and all that it takes for them to really bring their success to a high level.
Alright, so guys, you guys are fortunate enough that you guys don't have to go through School of Hard Knocks. Alright, which is good.
I'm the boss.
And also, what you want to do, guys, is once you start working, once you start coming up with your creative ideas and your creative juices are flowing, but there will come a time when your creative director or your art director is going to reject your work. Now, it will be such a waste if you don't know why your work is rejected. Or you may come to a point where you're going to win an award, or you're going to win a pitch because of the idea that you have come up with. Now, the worst thing that could happen on that day is that you don't know why it was accepted. And a lot of the young creative people in Malaysia are going through that as well. So what we want to do is, we want them to know if they're winning awards, why they're winning. If their work is being rejected by the CDs, they know why their work is rejected. It's not going to be just a guessing game. Remember, learning is very important at this stage, and we want you to learn. We don't want you to go in blindly, and like Janet about 25 years ago, when she had just to learn it the hard way, or 20 years ago, when she was just knocked around everywhere because there was no one to teach. Alright?